Hello, everyone. The most explosive news today is, of course, the rumor that Xi Jinping has suddenly suffered stroke and is receiving emergency treatment. How credible is this rumor? And what does it signify that such news about Xi emerges just 11 days before the fourth plenum is set to convene? Moreover, I have independently received information from a separate channel stating that Xi Jinping has suffered stroke and that the elders have launched a major operation targeting all Central Committee members, with only one objective: to ensure a smooth transition led by Wang Yang. At the same time, the South China Morning Post, one of the Chinese Communist Party's key outlets for major foreign propaganda, has begun publishing articles floating the idea that this fourth plenum will feature large-scale personnel adjustments within the Central Committee. And just as the CCP's political landscape is in turmoil, leaving outsiders dazzled and confused, the Trump administration has made several intriguing moves in quick succession. Yesterday, we discussed and analyzed with you the assessment report on Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign issued by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Today's latest report indicates that Trump may not attend the APEC summit in Busan, South Korea, at the end of the month. Having just finalized the Abraham Accords peace agreement and with his heart set on meeting Xi Jinping to discuss soybean trade issues, why has Trump suddenly changed course? Today is October 9th, Eastern Time. I'm Tang Jingyuan. Historic upheavals are unfolding before our eyes. Remember to subscribe, and we welcome everyone to forward and like our video so more people can see the truth about the news at this pivotal moment in history. Just today, Du Wan, currently residing in Europe and formerly legal advisor to Hu Jintao, disclosed a stunning breaking development in his self-media program. He revealed that a source within the CCP suddenly leaked to him. Xi Jinping suffered a sudden stroke in Beijing today, October 9th. His condition is extremely critical, and he is currently undergoing emergency rescue efforts. At the same time, Li Chang, who is on a visit to North Korea, has reportedly been ordered to return to China urgently. Du Wan also noted that this information currently comes from a single channel and cannot yet be independently verified. Given the gravity of the matter, it is being disclosed at this stage for now, pending further confirmation. Du Wan added that, in his view, a simple criterion for verifying the authenticity of this report would be: if Li Chang continues to make public appearances and fulfill his visit itinerary in North Korea, it would indicate that Xi Jinping's health has not deteriorated to the severe crisis level rumored externally. Perhaps it was merely a general malaise, or he has been successfully treated. But if Li Chang abruptly cuts short his North Korea visit and returns home, that would confirm the report of Xi's severe stroke as true, signaling that the CCP regime is about to face a new reshuffle and a major crisis. This news might leave many people momentarily stunned. How is it that Xi's stroke seems to be perfectly timed with the Central Committee plenum? Last July, during the third plenum, rumors wildly circulated that Xi had collapsed from a stroke right there in the venue, serving as the key trigger for his instantaneous ousting, loss of his paramount status, and effective sidelining. This year, with the even more critical fourth plenum just at the threshold of convening, Xi strikes again with a precisely timed stroke. It all feels far too coincidental. This leak involves two key pieces of information: Xi Jinping's stroke and the order for Li Chang to return urgently. Whether Xi has indeed suffered stroke is unverifiable on our end, but whether Li Chang returns can be checked with evidence. According to Flightradar24, which tracks real-time flight positions, the special aircraft B-2482 that Li Chang used for his North Korea visit has not yet returned as of now. That's point one. Point two. Even if Xi has truly suffered another stroke, Li Chang wouldn't necessarily have to immediately interrupt his trip and rush back. Xi's stroke could be severe or mild, and Li Chang isn't required to cut short his foreign visit right away. If such an event truly occurred, the CCP would certainly conceal it from the outside world at the first instance, imposing a strict seal on all related information. For Li Chang to make history by attending North Korea's grand military parade and then beat a hasty retreat before it even begins would alert the entire world that something major has happened, rendering all concealment efforts futile, like lighting a lamp in vain for the blind. Thus, the CCP might instead insist that Lee Chong remain in North Korea to better deceive the public and muddy the waters. Third, at this extraordinarily sensitive juncture, she's precisely timed, or opportunely timed. Stroke strikes me as more likely a case of being stroked. Because if a major rift has truly emerged at the highest levels over whether she should hand over power, and someone has taken decisive action, then the she who once stroked out at the third plenum could naturally stroke again, and it would have to be severe enough to require emergency rescue, just as the leak describes. In that scenario, Xi's prospects at the fourth plenum become a non-issue. He's in that state, utterly incapable of governing the country or charting a course for China and the world. Immediately arranging for a successor to take over and stabilize the situation would then become the most logical path forward. This provides everyone with the best rationale and exit strategy. No need for bloody infighting. The party and state's face is preserved. There's no fratricide within the red walls, no heroic storming of the emperor's palace. Just the inexorable cosmic law of birth, aging, sickness, and death. At this point, I must share with you the information I received today from another channel. This comes from an insider in the vice state level circles, and the key points of the message are as follows. Xi Jinping suffered a stroke about 2 or 3 days ago and is currently in the hospital. The consensus at the highest levels is to have Wang Yang lead the transition, and the elders have fully secured the entire Central Committee. Of the full 205 members of the 20th Central Committee, 48 have already been secretly controlled, detained, and the remaining 155 have been individually interviewed one by one, with only one theme. They must choose a side. That's 155 plus 48, making 203 people. The message doesn't mention why 2 are unaccounted for, but my personal guess is that Hu Chunhua might be one of them, as there's simply no need to interview him at all. The message states that she lost military control after last year's third plenum, and despite multiple subsequent attempts to counterattack, he has failed each time. This time, she will fully step down and hand over power, retaining only the nominal state chairmanship until next year's 2 sessions for procedural purposes. Insiders have a nickname for Xi that's not widely known externally. They call him Lungzi outright. The message references the People's Daily's recent publication of 8 articles lauding Xi Jinping's thought on the economy, describing this as an effort by Xi's confidants like Kai Chi to prop him up. After all, Kai Chi oversees propaganda, but it won't affect the bigger picture, and so on. That's essentially the core content of the message, which largely corroborates our prior analysis of Xi's loss of military power, leading to his counteroffensives and the resulting major purge in the military under Zhang Youxia, as well as our assessment of the Central Committee's current state. If the elders want to accomplish a power transition through legitimate means, the standard approach is to secure each Central Committee member one by one, ensuring no disruptions during the on-site voting process at the plenum. Of course, the message's take on the People's Daily series of articles praising Xi's economic thought differs somewhat from my interpretation. I lean toward viewing it as a sophisticated smear designed to pin full blame for the economic collapse squarely on Xi. But this is beside the main point. Whether it's genuine praise or deliberate high-level blackening, the objective effect is the same. It nails Xi's responsibility inescapably. Regarding the Central Committee situation, the South China Morning Post, one of the CCP's major foreign propaganda arms, published an article yesterday reporting that, given the collapse of the personnel structure Xi built after the 20th Congress, with high-level party, government, and military officials falling one after another, multiple sources indicate that at least 9 Central Committee members have been confirmed for replacement, forcing a reorganization of this Central Committee and ushering in the largest-scale personnel adjustments since 2017. Although the article names only those we've long known about, like the earlier cases of Qin Gang and Li Shangfu, or the recent ones such as Guangxi Governor Lan Tianli and Inner Mongolia Chairwoman Wang Lixia, the repetition of this public information clearly isn't the focus. The emphasis lies in the article's advance notice that this fourth plenum will involve large-scale personnel changes. As for the veracity of a Xi stroke rumor, I can only say that here on my end, 2 different sources have now mentioned it. But notably, at 3:24 p.m. Beijing time today, which is just past 3 a.m. Eastern time this morning, the CCP Foreign Ministry spokesperson officially announced the Global Women's Summit will be held in Beijing from October 13th to 14th. State Chairman Xi Jinping will attend the opening ceremony and deliver a keynote address. In other words, whether Xi's stroke is genuine or induced will have a crucial verification metric in just 4 days' time as a reference point. The reason I call it merely a reference is that if she has truly suffered a stroke and been admitted to Hospital 301, how could the authorities have the confidence to publicly announce his appearance and speech on the 13th? Unless they use a body double. Of course, on the topic of body doubles, we won't belabor it. Such things undoubtedly exist as standard issue for communist state leaders. But determining when we see the real person versus a stand-in is something that will forever spark endless debate. We can only say, if she appears as scheduled, it means the overall situation is temporarily stable, and everyone should sit tight for the main course of the fourth plenum. But we can't entirely rule out the stroke. However, if she truly skips the Women's Summit, then the real drama begins. Hurry and subscribe to our channel to grab the front row stool and watch the show firsthand. Beyond the various domestic channels abuzz with leaks portraying Xi as having lost control and teetering in the wind and rain, there's another noteworthy indicator of Xi's actual state: the reactions and actions from the U.S. side. Yesterday, we discussed with you the report issued 6 months ago, but only just declassified by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's office, which systematically assessed Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign and the state of corruption among CCP high-level officials. The release covers only the summary, with vast, detailed investigative content still under wraps. But even this summary delivers a heavy blow to Xi. As I said, the report thoroughly negates the legitimacy of Xi's anti-corruption drive, labeling it merely a cyclical political purge. This hands the anti-Xi faction a sharp knife, dismantling what was Xi's greatest political achievement. Coincidentally, today brought yet another highly sensitive report about Xi from South Korea. Multiple Korean media outlets, including JTBC and Seoul News, citing diplomatic sources, reported that U.S. President Trump will attend the ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, on the 26th and 27th of this month. From the 27th to 29th, he will visit Japan for talks with Sanai Takaichi, the frontrunner to become the next prime minister as the Liberal Democratic Party's new president. And on the 29th, he will arrive at Gimhae International Airport en route to Gyeongju. The reports state that Trump plans a 1- or 2-night stay in Korea and may not participate in the subsequent APEC leaders' meeting opening on the 31st. The reports note that Korea's foreign ministry is still coordinating Trump's schedule with the U.S. side, clearly aiming to secure his attendance at the APEC summit. After all, Trump's absence would significantly diminish the event's weight, and as host, Korea naturally hopes the world's most heavyweight leader will show. The reports also mention varying accounts on the venue for bilateral talks, possibly in Seoul, meaning Trump plans to meet Lee Jae-myung there, but still skips the summit. This is extraordinarily unusual. Many of you may have seen news that on October 1st, Trump himself posted on TS that in just 4 weeks, he would meet CCP State Chairman Xi Jinping, with the main topic being China's cessation of soybean purchases from the U.S. The 4 weeks later, event Trump referenced is, of course, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, Leaders Summit in Gyeongju, South Korea. This isn't an isolated report. Just a week ago, on October 3rd, U.S. Ambassador to China Perdue told media in an interview that a face-to-face meeting between Trump and Xi is unlikely to occur before next year. This immediately drew attention in U.S. political circles at the time. Trump had spoken just 2 days earlier, so why did Perdue's statement contradict him so starkly? Now, seeing these Korean media reports aligns with Perdue's remarks. Trump is likely to skip the APEC summit, thereby avoiding a meeting with Xi. In other words, the primary reason for Trump's absence from the summit is probably to sidestep a face-to-face with Xi, especially since Korean media reported just yesterday that Xi plans to attend this APEC summit with his wife Peng Liyuan. This raises a massive question. Why has Trump, who is set to confront Xi in person, suddenly change his mind? He's already in Gyeongju but stops at the threshold, neither joining the summit nor meeting Xi to discuss soybeans? Did American farmers' soybeans all sell out overnight? The answer is no, because on October 6th, Trump announced $10 billion in relief subsidies for U.S. soybean farmers, indicating that American soybeans haven't found new buyers. So, what exactly caused Trump to shift in just 2 days, opting out of the APEC summit and seemingly unconcerned about meeting Xi on soybean issues? The underlying reasons are open to interpretation. We can only say people will see what they will. In my personal view, a relatively plausible explanation is that combining the fact of Xi's power loss, Trump may have gotten wind of this development. The ever-pragmatic Trump likely sees no value in talking to a powerless figurehead. It's just a waste of breath, so he might as well skip the summit altogether. The Xi-Trump meeting can go by the wayside. What matters is meeting those who truly hold sway. Of course, this is just my take as a point of reference for your thinking. We very much welcome your comments, sharing your views and insights.